Hello and welcome to the Un-American Football Show. We have got a band back together this week with Alan and Ross joining me. We all good, fellas?
Yeah, super.
Yeah, smashing. Excited to actually get to go to a game this week.
Oh, I know.
Oh, yeah.
It must be exciting for you to know that you're finally going to meet us face-to-face, Ross, next week.
Exciting. No. I'm actually feeling a little bit ambiguous, to be honest. Depends how many beers I have with you guys.
This could be like the very last you ever want to do.
Yeah, you might not see me next week, guys.
Put you off that much.
Ross has left.
Ross has left the chat. There we go. We've got an extra body to find space for on screen this week too, with by now long-time friend of the show and fellow suffering AFC South fan, Pat Jackson. Welcome back, mate.
Thanks for having me back,
You
mate.
good?
It's good to be here. Sad that we're back being the division of disgrace after one season hiatus, but, you know, these things are sent to try us, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame that we're making the NFC East look competent.
Thank you for the loan of the title there.
Superb. Okay, so I haven't told Ross and Alan exactly why Pat's here yet. So I'm looking forward to seeing their reactions right in front of me. Basically, the idea here is that Pat is going to pick one of our predictions and wildcard it. So he's going to come in, he's going to go, I don't like your prediction on this one, I'm going to change it. And he can change the winner, he can change the score, he can do anything. If Pat's prediction comes in, we will get an arbitrary number of bonus points that I will make up on the spot. But if it doesn't come in, we just don't get any points. Should we lose points? I'm literally making this up as I go. Should we lose a couple of points? No. We just don't get the points as normal.
Comment below what the punishment should be.
Yeah. We've had 42 whole people watch this show last week. So if you're one of the 42, from the looks of things, with Pat commenting on every video we've done so far, maybe Pat was the 42 people watching. But if you haven't, leave us a comment. Tell us what you think the punishment should be if Pat's well off. Do we lose points? What do we do? Please let us know in the comments below. I see people saying that on YouTube all the time. I'm like, I'll comment if I want to. Don't tell me to comment. Fuck off. And now here we are. Anyway, let's go over week 4. So Jaguars Bengals on Thursday Night Football. It was a 24 points to 21 victory for the Bengals. I chose the Bengals. Then with the Browns and Vikings, I went with the Browns. I went for a slightly more comfortable 27 points to 24 victory. It's actually 14 points to 7. Steelers and Packers, I took the Packers, winning by 11. Damn, it was 10, but I get those points anyway. That's nice. Buccaneers, I went with Tom Brady winning out, and I predicted a pretty comfortable win, and it wasn't at all. With the Bucs only winning by 2 points over the Pats in Foxborough. And then I went with the Chargers, a last-minute game change because I was worried about going wrong, and I'm glad I changed. I covered a 31 points to 30 victory. Chargers won it more comfortably in the end. And then Tom Brady is the player I picked to be the fantasy point scorer, and I'm obviously very wrong there. Alan, how'd you do?
Yeah, I think I continued my trend of when I'm right, my God, I'm really right. But when I'm wrong, I'm pretty far off. So yeah, I had the Bengals as well. Not that close, but at least it was right, I guess. Went for the Vikings. I had a feeling that they were on a roll. Not enough of a roll to beat the Browns, unfortunately. I also had the Packers to win against the Steelers, probably by... that was probably the right margin. That was probably bang on. That's pretty good. The Buccaneers, I thought, were going to beat the Patriots by more than they did. And then the Chargers, I got the right margin as well. I got the Chargers to win. And then I did my magic,
Cursed.
I swung my wand and I said, Joe Mixon, this is the end of your season, sir. Picked him for my fantasy player of the week, and now he's injured. So I'm sorry, Joe. You're welcome, Samaje P.
The curse of wood strikes again. You didn't get the Packers Steelers margin right. You've got a 14-point game though, which is too high. It was a 10-point game, so you don't get the bonus points for the right margin. But you get
True, you
get the
are
point,
right.
which is fine. Roscoe, how'd you do?
Yeah, Bengals did the business, but not the business for me. I predicted a much heavier scoreline, but the Jags actually outperformed themselves, I think, on Thursday. So well done, Pat, on the Jacksonville. One of the better performances of the year. Probably the only one you're going to get. But Browns at Vikings, and one of the weirder games of the year. I think I watched a lot of that again with my Vikings flatmate, and he went through hell for 4 quarters after that first opening drive touchdown. Vikings lost. I'm not very happy about it. Packers won. Again, I got the score difference correct. Got 10 points exactly on the nose, so I'm very happy with that. Didn't get the exact score correct, but I'll take the difference.
It's the closest anyone's come to having a correct score. I think that's actually the correct bang-on correct margin we've had as well.
We'll take it. Just making history here on the Tough Show week after week. Buccaneers, I expected them to get 40 points against the Patriots. I thought they were really going to go off, but the Patriots defense was a lot stingier than I predicted. Probably the more surprising unit of the game. So I got the win, but that's all I got there. And I got the win for the Chargers as well on Monday Night Football, but not the right. But the Raiders kind of laid an egg for the first time this season, so didn't get the score differential correct there. But we'll take the Chargers win.
Player.
Devontae Adams didn't have a good week, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, so I've got the points. I made a note of the points that our players got this week in fantasy. So I picked Tom Brady. Oh no, I've actually deleted it from the spreadsheet. That's good. Tom Brady had 11 points something. Joe Mixon had 13.7, and Devontae Adams had 12.4. It was a particularly poor week.
Go on, Jay.
Yeah, Adam gets the bonus point for Joe coming closest to being the best point scorer. But between us, we failed to pick a player that was in the top 30 of fantasy point scorers this week. I actually think that really takes some doing. There were actually more than 30 players better than the 3 players we selected.
We managed to pick a real bunch of mediocre players there. However, I will say it was an odd week for fantasy. Like, I played Dalvin Cook and DeAndre Swift in a load of matchups, and neither of them scored more than 10. CD Lamb got less than 5.
Amari only just scraped to 15.
Yeah, he got a long touchdown.
And then Austin Eckler and Cordell Patterson both scoring well above 20 points, who I have played both of them in various matchups this week. So that's a nice little bit for me. I think I'm killing it in one of my leagues. I think I'm 4-0 in one of my leagues. I'm not quite sure how I got there.
You're about to run me over in week 5, I think. But let's move on.
Yeah. So we'll move on to week 5's predictions. So the games that we're going for, Thursday night football, obviously. Rams at Seahawks, Friday midnight in the UK on Sky Sports NFL. If I say Sky Sports often enough, maybe they'll notice and they'll sponsor us or something. So I'm going with the Rams to win this one, 27 points to 20. One of my processes for trying to work out these games is I look at a lot of betting lines and things to see who Vegas is favouring, see what the spread is, see what people are going for the over and under to kind of get a general idea of where experts think the point score might go. And almost everybody's got the Seahawks winning this one. A couple of places by more than a score. The Rams weren't great this weekend, but they played a very decent Cardinals team. Very, very decent Cardinals team. So I'm a little confused by this because the Seahawks are fine. I mean, they maybe have a slightly above average offense and have probably got an average defense. That might be a little harsh, but I don't expect the Seahawks to win this one. So I'm going with Rams 27 points to 20.
Yeah, I got the Rams as well. I think it's a bounce back week. the Rams, that you say, they played a tough opposition in the Cardinals, and the Cardinals definitely took their opportunities. They scored a lot of points when they needed to, and were able to sort of coast a little bit in the second half. The Rams won't like that. Sean McVay won't like that. He'll like to try and right the wrong. With the Seahawks, I'm just not sure who they are. Like, they beat the 49ers, who are a decent team. However, they did have a change of quarterback. Trey Lance, okay, he was great with his legs, bar a blown coverage to Deebo Samuel. We wouldn't done a lot from fantasy or real life production, in my opinion. But then they got blown away by the Vikings. So yeah, I'm just not sure who the Seahawks team are. Playing at the Central Link Field is going to be a difficult place to go. But I just fancy the Rams to have a bit of a bounce back, and I've gone 30-20 to the Rams.
Well, I'm bucking the trend, and unlike Nate's some thorough research that he's put into this predictions, I just went on a gut instinct. And it's Thursday night football on a short week, and the Seattle Seahawks are at home. I don't think teams can prepare in the short time for a road trip, especially to the Central Link Field, where we know that crowd is going to be raucous on a Thursday night game, a Thursday night divisional game nonetheless as well. So Rams, they just looked a little bit lifeless against the Cardinals, to be honest, and I just don't see them overcoming that in the 3-day span. I don't know if they were looking ahead to Seattle, knowing how big a trip that is, but they looked a little bit lifeless, and I just think Seattle, with Russell Wilson, who hasn't had a turnover this week, has yet to throw an interception on the season, is playing very well. Coming off that win against San Francisco, I think they keep rolling. So I have a scoreline of 20-17 to the Seahawks. It's not like it's they're not going to railroad the Rams, but I see it at least being a one-score game to Seattle.
Okay.
I should jump in. I only disagreed with Ross on one of his predictions, and it was this one. I fancy an angry bounce back from the Rams this week. I have them winning this game 42-17. Go big or go home, Rams.
Wow. I think they could go big. I don't see a reason why they can't not. They can all want to
that is fantastic. That is amazing. Okay.
Bro, what are you doing?
The Vikings put up 30 points on the Seahawks 2 weeks ago. Put up 7 last week against the Browns. So why would we trust that Seahawks defense? Their offense struggling in the run game. They've got DK Metcalf and Freddie Swain at WR2 at the moment. Maybe Tyler Lockett coming back fit. I don't trust it. And I don't trust the Rams to be bad 2 weeks in a row on the basis of what we've seen them so far. So
I was only joking about the Jags. I didn't mean it.
I really worry for my future predictions if that's the level we're going in at. Okay, so there it is. Ross's wildcard entry is not the Seahawks winning this game. It's the Rams winning the game by a margin of 23 points. I love it, and I'm terrified in equal measure. Second game we've gone for is the Titans at Jacksonville, Sunday 6 p.m. No idea whether this or the next game we pick is going to be on Sky. We're recording before they've announced, so I've just picked 2 random games, and it had to be divisional matchups this week, I think. So I've gone for the Tits to win, 33 points to 17. They're going to have a bounce back from a defeat to a very bad football team, and they're going to beat a very bad football team comfortably. 33 points to 17. Oh, phew.
I'm going to take my shot.
Pat hasn't interrupted.
Go for the Jags.
One's safe. I'm delighted.
I'm going to go for the Jags.
What?
Yeah. Going for it. I think the Jags have shown significant improvement in the last couple of weeks. I think they've really made a good go of it against the Cardinals, who, we've just been talking them up as being a very good team. And last week, again, I thought they showed real resilience against the Bengals. Didn't like the game plan in the second half, but some things went their way, I guess, throughout the course. This is slightly pins on what the wide receiver group's looking like for the Titans. Without Julio Jones, without A.J. Brown, they are, they're playing guys that no one's ever heard of if you're playing like a fantasy league with rosters of 40 players on your team, some of these guys will be on your roster, but outside of that, you've probably no need to know who they are in real life or fantasy or otherwise. So I just think the Jaguars, if they can get back to giving the ball to James Robinson, who I still think is their most productive player, played really well last week. I fancy the Jags to win, but I think it's going to be close. I'm going to go 23-20.
That's wild. I genuinely can't believe what I'm hearing.
I was waiting for Pat to jump in and change that. No, I knew it.
That was the hope.
The one person that picks the Jags is like he's gonna go with that, I assume, because I'm picking the Titans, and I hear you on the wide receiver injuries, but Jacksonville are giving up the third most yards a game, and their rushing defense is not that much better. And Derrick Henry is once again leading the league in rushing. He's got over 500 yards, leading the league by more than 100 yards already. So you can stack the box against him all you like. He's still going to break 3 tackles and rumble for 200 yards like he always does against the Jaguars, I think. So I have a scoreline of 30-21 because I do think I saw some improvement from Trevor Lawrence last week against the Bengals, who are they're pretty good on defense, I think, as well. So I can see them putting up points because the Titans' defense isn't that great either. But eventually, Derrick Henry and the Titans pull away 30-21.
I was waiting to hear all your predictions before I came in. This is the only fixture I disagree with Nate on. I think the Jaguars are going to win this game 24-21. And now so does Nate.
3-point margin, very popular.
Sorry, what was the score?
24-21. Same as this week, but the right way round this time.
For fuck's sake. That's...
Let's go Jags.
Oh my god, that is absolutely filth, Patrick. I knew this was a bad idea. Right, our late Sunday kickoff is the Giants at the Cowboys. Sunday 9:25. I'm going to assume that that's going to be on TV. It's the Cowboys. It's Sky. It's divisional. It will be on telly. Yeah, I'm going with the Cowboys. 17 points to 28 down in Texas. I would say down in Dallas then, but they don't really play in Dallas, do they? I think the Cowboys are quietly becoming a very, very good football team. Slightly leaky defense, but it's kind of they're kind of in a similar position to the Chiefs, I think, where they've got a very explosive offense and a defense that could lose them games when they go up against better offenses, but they're not going up a better offense/defense with the Giants. I expect Daniel Jones to put some points on the boards. He does most weeks, but he doesn't often lead a team to victory, and he won't here. And I'm going to make another bold prediction. I think Dak is going to throw for 350 yards.
That is bold. He's definitely not done that last few weeks. It's been very run-heavy game plans. I will just say there are some actually fantastic games on it, that sort of middly late window. Chargers-Browns is quite an interesting one. But back to Giants-Cowboys. Yeah, this is one that I fear Pat's going to flip on its head, but I've got the Cowboys, unsurprisingly, to win. I've got them winning 30-17. I think just mentioning there about how they have been so run-heavy, something that I think has been really interesting to see so far this season for the Cowboys is that they are finding ways to beat teams in more than one way. So the game plan against the Buccaneers was clearly you can't run the ball against them, so they went to the air. Ever since then, they've gone rather run-heavy, targeted tight ends, a lot of play action, and they're finding success from it. So I think that the Cowboys they're set up well for this game. The Giants, I have a bit of a soft spot for the Giants, considering they're in our division, to be honest. Daniel Jones has played well. I still think they've scored points against the Cowboys, despite their defense being better. They do have a lot of injuries in the likes of Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton, and they are relying a bit more on Kenny Golladay and Tony, they sort of popped up a little bit more this last week, but I don't think it's going to be enough to beat the Cowboys at Jerry World. So yeah, Cowboys 30 points to 17.
Yeah, I'll keep rolling with the Cowboys as Dallas are rolling at the moment. I think the Giants, just watched them very closely on Sunday. They can put together some drives. They have their defense can create some turnovers and they step up in some moments. But Cowboys, they have the second best rushing attack in the league on average rushing yards per game. And I think that's one of the weaknesses of the Giants. So I think whether it's Dak throwing the ball, whether it's the rushing attack, I think the Cowboys offense is the best unit on the field. So they roll 31-20. I have Dallas winning, and that'll be a four-game winning streak as well. So Dallas will really take control of the NFC East.
Yeah. Patrick doesn't look like he's jumping in on this one.
I had the Cowboys to win this one 35-17, and I can't bring myself to give Alan 5 more points for his Cowboys, so we'll pass on this one.
Good. Sunday Night Football, Bills at the Chiefs in a big clash at the top of the AFC. I know the Chiefs aren't really there at the moment, but they will be coming into the year. It's almost guaranteed, isn't it? I'll go with the Chiefs winning this one. I'm still not blown away by either defensive units here, and I think the Bills' defensive unit is slightly better. But with all the weapons the Chiefs have got, I just don't think you can rule them out winning this game. I appear to be on my own in that prediction there. I think their offensive weapons are better than the Bills. It's going to be close. It's going to be one hell of a game. Chiefs to win it 31-27.
I don't disagree with that the Chiefs have better offensive weapons. But I do think the Bills overall are just a bit more versatile. Their defense is significantly better than that of the Chiefs. I think teams can look at playing the Chiefs this year as much as probably any year gone past, looked at the defense and gone, they're there for the taking. And every team scored points against them. The Eagles aren't all that, but they put up a decent amount of points against them. So yeah, I just think the Chiefs, they're not quite firing all cylinders. I said before, they've not really replaced Sammy Watkins out wide to try and give any threat on the edges, and I think that's been to their detriment. Whereas the Bills, I don't love what the Bills have done, but I think this could be a real statement win for them for this season, and then people are going to probably start talking them up as Super Bowl contenders when they win this one. So I've gone for the Bills 28-24.
Yeah, I know both me and Alan disagree with Nate on this one, but it really was basically a flip of the coin on Sunday Night Football. I know it's in KC and Arrowhead on Sunday Night Football. It's going to be allowed in there, but I think that's the Buffalo Bills. They're familiar with that. They were there in the AFC title game, and I think this is their revenge game, as it were. I give them that mulligan against the Steelers. Week 1, Steelers come out and they've looked rubbish ever since, whereas Buffalo now are the best defense in the league in terms of average yards per game, and the Chiefs are the second worst. So which, for me, is just an indication that the Chiefs defense might be the worst unit in this matchup. But we know how special Mahomes is and how special those offensive weapons are. So I think the game's going to be close. And like I say, potentially whoever has the ball last wins the game. So I've gone with Buffalo in a big statement win just because I think that's what I want to happen. So that's what I'm going for, one with my gut. And I've got a 31-28 Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, a big statement game for him as well.
Yeah, I agree with every single one of Alan's game winners this week. This was the one where I disagreed with the score the most. Chiefs have conceded more touchdowns than any other team in the entire NFL at the moment. I have the Bills winning this one 38-31.
Well, I'm not sure if that's a good indictment on my predictions or not, Pat, because I've been wrong a lot. But thank you very much for the endorsement nonetheless.
Okay. Sorry, that was. Did you say the Bills winning that 38-31? Okay. All right. I'm disappointed you haven't changed the result there, but it's fine. We'll roll with it.
When you're right this much, Nate, it's really hard to change.
Fuck me. That's. Yeah, let's move on.
It's all right. Let's talk about the Colts.
Yeah, let's talk about the Colts. It's Monday Night Football this week. The Colts visiting Baltimore. Tuesday 1 a.m. start in the UK on Sky Sports. I've gone with the Ravens to win this one. Neither team have been particularly good so far this year. Ravens have been better. Colts obviously have a lot of problems with injuries on their own line. Quentin Nelson's now on IR. So, that's a few weeks before he's going to be anywhere near coming back. I think they've done that. I don't think the injury's all that significant. I think they've just done that to make sure that he gets all the rest he could possibly need to come back fit and healthy and firing. Eric Fisher being on the line is great. Certainly an improvement from the first couple of weeks there. I think it's going to be a similar game to what we saw with the Rams, where the Ravens will get ahead. The Colts will sort of trade scores with them, but never quite catch up. Keep going between a 1 to keeping the score between a 2 and then catch up to a 1 score, 2, 1 score, 2 score. More or less all the way. I'm not all that impressed with the Ravens so far this season. But it's obvious the Colts have got problems and they're going to continue this week. 21 points to 25.
I'd agree with you again, Nate. I'm not particularly impressed by the Ravens either. But I do think there's going to be a point where they have their statement game, and I think this is it. I think the Colts are definitely there for the taking. They had a good win last week against, a tricky opponent in Miami, but they're definitely not doing what a lot of people expected them to do, myself included. I thought the Colts would have a stronger season than they have to this point. They have, this absurd record of matching the all-time record for at least 100 yards rushing in a game, which are 43, tied at the all-time 43 games, which they only squeaked out last week against Denver by doing a cheeky play at the very end of the game. But the running game hasn't been all that hot after losing Gus Edwards and the other guy, J.K. Dobbins, that's it, came to me eventually. And I think the onus is now more on Lamar Jackson to do a lot of that rushing, which he loves. He excels in it.
Lev Bell, and I think he's no longer practice squad.
Exactly. As I say, the running game's dreadful. So it's all on Lamar Jackson to make it tick, and I think he's going to do that against this Colts defense, which has struggled at times. On the Colts, I think they've got potential to put points up, but I think they might only score a single touchdown in this one. So I've gone Ravens 27, Colts 13.
Can't believe that. I can't believe that's not the one you're changing, Pat. Shocking.
Well, since you brought me in, I went Colts 10, Ravens 24 on this one, so I had exactly the same margin as that one, but slightly more pessimistic about the points. On the basis that I saw Carson Wentz fail to complete a screen pass underthrown last week, and that just bode well for anyone's offense.
It's worked well us sharing our scores in advance, Pat, hasn't it? We really, we've nailed this. They believe it and everything.
Yeah, I agree with basically everything that's been said so far, to be fair. I don't necessarily find the Ravens all that impressive so far, but I am going to change my score on the fly. I did think the Ravens would win by 2 scores, but I'm going to make it a 1-score game because although the Ravens' rushing attack hasn't been amazing, I think that's what they're still going to try and do. They're going to run the ball a lot, and the Colts run the ball a lot, so I think the game's going to be kind of shortened. So maybe we'll actually stay up on Monday Night Football for a change. Could be done by 3 o'clock if these teams run the ball the way they do, or the way that we know they can. And that's going to keep the game close. That's probably why the Ravens aren't going to succeed, is because the way they play football entices low-scoring, close games. So I'll see that happening again on Monday night. And plus, all these primetime games have been fairly close for the most part. So I'm going to keep it to a 1-score game. Ravens win 21-17, I have.
I'm glad it's a little bit closer there. Again, our top fantasy point scorer from the 5 games. I got with Derrick Henry. I genuinely don't know how anybody else can look at anybody else throughout these games. Derrick Henry is going up against, as Ross said, the worst run defense in the league. I've got him getting over. I've got him going for his first 200-yard game of the season, and I'm going for over 3 touchdowns. I'm not going to predict 4 or 5 like Alvin Kamara did on Christmas Day.
Did you learn nothing from Alan picking Joe Mixon against us last week?
No, because I don't have the curse of Alan. That is purely Alan picked someone, they are shit. He did it to CMC, he picked him, he got injured. Did it to Joe Mixon. And this has gone on for years, by the way. This is years in the making. It's not just NFL, it's football as well. He does it on FPL. Anywhere Alan picks someone, they are rubbish.
Yeah, it's true. If I draft you in the first round of a fantasy draft, you are dead within weeks. This is the only time I've had CMC, and I've had him 2 years back to back, and he's been injured. Before that, I had Devontae Adams. The year he was injured, most of the year. The other year in between that, I had Alvin Kamara. The year that he was injured, the whole year. So I do have, unfortunately, significant power. I've never picked Saquon Barkley. He's just a broken boy. For my pick, I've really struggled on this. I sort of had three names that I really wanted to think about, and I haven't really come to a conclusion. But I'm going to go back on what I originally said.
Which was?
Or planned to say. And which was Lamar Jackson. I think Ross made a good point there about it being potentially a short game. And I'm actually going to go for Thursday Night Football instead. I'm going to go for Cooper Kupp, who's had a massive season so far.
WR2 at the moment.
When the
he was going.
Probably, I don't know.
I think he was going.
He's got to be top 5. Yeah, Mike Williams had a stinker. I think he was just over 2 prior to that. But yeah, he's got to be sort of top 3, top 4. When he's on it so far this season, the Rams win basically, and they didn't win last week. So I think they're going to do everything they can to get the ball into the hands of Cooper Kupp. So yeah, going for Cooper.
Yeah, he's top 3 in receiving yards. So I don't know if he's like in the league. So he might be number 2 on the depth chart. It's probably just how they use him because he's not a traditional wide receiver, I suppose. But I would have picked Derrick Henry, but the stat sheet was already filled up, and I feel rather guilty doubling up on him and kind of rotten, to be honest. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take Josh Allen on Sunday Night Football to have the best fantasy week. 3 or 4 passing touchdowns, a few rushing yards, and he'd be right there. Josh Allen on a good day is up there with any fantasy scorer, so I'm quite happy with that selection. I won't be on Monday morning, probably.
I went Josh Allen as well, and then I thought, hang on, I've predicted the Rams are going to score 6 touchdowns, so I flipped it to Matthew Stafford at the last minute.
Nice.
We are so in tune, Pat. It's a beautiful thing.
With that, that's the end of the show. Thanks, Pat, for coming in and messing with our shit. As ever, if you've enjoyed us today, drop us a comment, give us a like, subscribe, or just do none of those things. It's completely up to you. You can listen to our other audio-only show, though that might be about to change, on the usual platforms, and you can follow us on Twitter at Tough Show Official, or you can also come over and join us on our Discord. You can find links to that on our Twitter and on Anchor as well, and Spotify, and probably anywhere else you can find us, to be honest. Thanks, Alan and Ross, and thank you all for listening. Until next week, goodbye. We go for the waves again. All right, there we go.